The ghost ship of the Crimson Veil. The sea was a restless beast, its waves clawing at the hull of the Stormfang as Captain Joren Varkis stood at the helm. At 32, with salt-streaked black hair and a scar curving from brow to jaw, Joren was a legend among the pirates of the Sable Sea. His crew called him fearless, though he'd never admit the truth. Fear didn't drive him, but greed did. Gold, glory, and a name that would outlive the tides, those were his gods. Tonight, under a sky bruised with storm clouds, he chased a rumor wilder than any he'd heard, the ghost ship of the Crimson Veil, a vessel said to sail through storms no mortal could survive, its hold brimming with treasure cursed by the sea itself. Captain, called Mira, his first mate, her voice cutting through the wind. A wiry woman with a braid of red hair and eyes sharp as a gull's, she clung to the rigging, pointing to the horizon. There, crimson mist, just like the tales. Joren's heart quickened. He'd heard the stories in every tavern from Blackreef to Stormhaven, a ship that appeared in blood-red fog, luring sailors to their doom. Those who chased it never returned, but the promise of its treasure, gems that glowed like stars, gold that whispered secrets, was too much to resist. Joren had sailed through tempests and rival fleets, no ghost ship would outrun him. Full sail, he roared, his crew scrambling to obey. The Stormfang surged forward, its black sails taut as it plunged into the gathering storm. Lightning cracked, illuminating the mist ahead, a swirling curtain of crimson that seemed to pulse with life. Joren's grin was feral. Tonight, we claim the Crimson Veil's hoard. The mist swallowed them, thick and warm, smelling of salt and something older, decay, perhaps, or forgotten gods. The sea grew still, the storm's roar muffled. Then it appeared, a ship, larger than any galleon, its hull black as obsidian, its sails tattered but glowing with an eerie red light. Figures moved on its deck, silent and spectral, their eyes hollow. The Crimson Veil was no rumor, it was real, and it was waiting. Ready the grappling hooks! Joren ordered, but Mira grabbed his arm, her face pale. Captain, look at them, she whispered, nodding to the ghost ship's crew. They're not alive. Joren's bravado faltered. The figures weren't men but shadows, their forms flickering like candle flames. Yet the ship moved with purpose, its bow cutting the water as if drawn to the Stormfang. A voice echoed, deep and resonant, not from the ship but from the sea itself. Joren Varkis, it said, each syllable a wave crashing against his soul. You seek my treasure. Board my vessel, and prove your worth. The crew froze, their hands trembling on ropes and swords. Joren's greed warred with a chill in his bones. He'd faced death before, cannons, blades, betrayal, but this was different. This was divine. Who are you? He called, gripping the helm. I am Thaloryn, god of the deep, keeper of the Crimson Veil. My ship carries the souls of those who dared to claim my wealth. Win my game, and the treasure is yours. Fail, and you join my crew. Joren's crew murmured, fear rippling through them. Mira's eyes pleaded, but Joren's mind raced. A god's game? He'd outwitted admirals and assassins. No sea deity would best him. Name your terms, Thaloryn. Board my ship, the voice boomed. Solve my riddles 3. Each answer brings you closer to my hoard. Each failure binds a soul to me. Joren turned to his crew, their faces a mix of dread and loyalty. Stay with the Stormfang, he told Mira. If I don't return, sail for Blackreef. Joren, don't, she said, her voice low. This isn't worth your life. He smirked, hiding his unease. What's a pirate without a gamble? With a rope and a leap, Joren swung onto the Crimson Veil's deck, landing amid the spectral crew. They parted, their hollow eyes tracking him. The deck was slick, not with water but with something viscous, like blood. At the ship's heart stood a throne of coral and bone, and on it sat no god, only a riddle carved into the mast. I am taken from a mine and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I am used by almost every person. What am I? Joren's mind churned. The spectral crew watched, their silence oppressive. A mine, a wooden case, he paced, the ship creaking as if alive. Then it clicked. "Charcoal," he said, his voice steady. "Taken from a mine, encased in wood as a pencil, used by many, never removed." The mast glowed, and a door opened in the deck, revealing a staircase descending into the ship's hold. The crew's eyes dimmed, as if disappointed. Joren's heart pounded, but he'd won the first round. He descended, the air growing colder, the walls pulsing like a heartbeat. The second riddle awaited in a chamber lit by glowing pearls. The walls were etched with scenes of sinking ships, and the air smelled of brine and despair. A new carving read, "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Joren's confidence wavered. The ship groaned, and whispers filled the chamber, not Thaloryn's voice, but the crew's, their regrets and pleas. He shut them out, focusing. No mouth, no ears, alive with the wind. "An echo," he said at last. "It speaks by repeating, hears by receiving sound, formless but stirred by the wind." The pearls flared, and a hidden panel slid open, revealing a chest overflowing with gems that pulsed like stars. Joren's greed surged, he was close. But as he reached for the chest, a spectral hand grasped his wrist. A sailor, his face half-rotted, stared at him. "You'll join us," it rasped. Joren yanked free, his heart racing. The ship was alive, and it hungered. The final riddle lay in the ship's deepest hold, a cavernous space where water lapped at his boots. Thaloryn's presence was stronger here, a pressure that made Joren's ears ring. The riddle was carved into a stone altar, "I am always hungry, I must always be fed. The finger I touch will soon turn red. What am I?" Joren's mind raced, but the whispers grew louder, now joined by Mira's voice. Impossible, she was on the Stormfang. "Joren, come back," she cried. He shook his head, focusing. Hungry, touching fingers, turning them red. "Fire," he said, his voice hoarse. "It hungers, burns fingers, and leaves red wounds." The altar cracked, and the chest from above materialized, its gems spilling across the floor. Joren laughed, triumphant, but Thaloryn's voice thundered. "You have won my treasure, mortal, but the game is not over. Take the hoard, and the crimson veil claims your soul. Leave it, and you may go free." Joren froze, the gems glow tempting him. He'd sailed through storms, risked his crew for this. But the spectral crew closed in, their faces those of pirates, merchants, kings. All who'd chosen greed. Joren thought of Mira, of the Stormfang, of the life he'd built. He'd chased glory, but what was it worth if he lost himself? "I choose freedom," he said, stepping back. The ship shuddered, Thaloryn's laughter echoing. "A rare choice, Joren Varkis. Go, but know the sea never forgets." The crimson veil dissolved into mist, and Joren found himself on the Stormfang's deck, the storm gone, the sea calm. Mira rushed to him, her relief palpable. "You're alive," she breathed. "Barely," Joren said, his smirk returning. He told no one of the riddles, only that the treasure wasn't worth the cost. The Stormfang sailed for Blackreef, its crew richer in stories than gold. Joren stood at the helm, the stars above brighter, the sea no longer a beast but a partner. He'd outwitted a god, and that was treasure enough.